Okay, so I said before that I was really confused about Saraswati as part of this deck, and it's really, I figured it was, but you just never know. It is totally my own ignorance. I think I just also don't belong to a particular sect of Tibetan Buddhism that really works deeply with Saraswati, which is a pity. Let me tell you, it's a real shame. It just doesn't seem to be in the lineage, that she doesn't seem to be part of those lineages. I could be mistaken, and I may reach out to my mentor to find out if there's something I missed. But after reading and researching more about her in Tibetan Buddhism, I really wish we had her. Of course, I could always seek out teachings from other traditions, and lineages within the Tibetan, Rime, but movement. But I don't necessarily feel called to do that right now. I've kind of got a full practice plate, so to speak. So that said, she is marvelous, and she's perfect as a representation here of the Empress. Of course, she represents all things to do with the arts. In Tibetan, she's called Yang Chenma, and she is more found in like the Sakya school of Tibetan Buddhism than in the Nyingma and Karmapa or Karma Kagyu schools. So that's partly why I probably haven't encountered with her, although apparently we do have some connections. Oh, we do, yeah, of course we do, through Ayukandro and Namkhai Norbu Rinpoche. We have some connections to the Sakya traditions and lineages. A couple of the practices, actually, now that I think about it, that I do come from that tradition, and from Ayukandro through Namkhai Norbu Rinpoche, and then through Lama Saltram. But she is, she's wonderful for women, for the arts. The swans represent the beauty that she brings to the world. She is sometimes called upon for various different things, some of which I cannot think of at the moment. I don't know why. But yeah, I mean, basically what we need to know about her is that she does represent fertility. Women, oh, that's where they're, blah. She is represented frequently. Nat, if you're watching this back, you're going to want to just make a little cut here. Essentially, what we need to know is that you would call upon Saraswati for anything that you're creating, right? So those who are into astrology, she is all about your fifth house right here. So children, baby making, creativity, the arts, bringing beauty and companionship and loyalty and fealty into whatever she does, right? So she is perfect, really, as the Empress. There is no way in which she is not the perfect Empress. And let's see, what else do I have? She has a variety of emanations that have various different names. They're not worth going into because they won't change the reading of your card at all. But just know that this is where that comes from. Divine music and things that it's a kind of music that's transcendent. She helps to create the kind of art that's transcendent. Yeah. And most of the beauty and the things that are on her that adorn her are things that we can think of as making her, emphasizing her sacredness, right? Emphasizing her beauty, her sacredness, her ability to bring us things that are beautiful, sacred, creative, or prosperous. Okay, so they're fertile, abundant, and so on. Okay, we've got some little wish-fulfilling jewels here at the bottom of this lotus. So it's having earthly things, and earthly success as well as the spiritual success, which makes a lot of sense, right? So she's our Empress. Her consort, I'm going to put them together here. Actually, I'll move her over to the other side. We read left to right. Her consort is, of course, and how could I not know this? This is the part that always makes me kind of like facepalm, right? Manjushri is her consort, and they are often shown in a yabyum together, which is what we have on the Lover's card, right? So the Lover's card, which we are not at yet, this is a yabyum, so they're in union. But essentially they are absolutely perfect as our Empress and Emperor. Manjushri, of course, I mean, so many things we could say about Manjushri. Manjushri here riding a lion, the mount of a particular deity, and often if Saraswati is on a mount, it would be a swan. With Manjushri, it is the lion. It's usually not an African lion. I think that's an interesting choice, but it's technically incorrect, because when we represent lions in Tibetan culture, they're usually the snow lion. Okay, the snow lion mount is well, it's associated with the Ratna family, so that would be the yellow family, the earth family. Again, similarly, although we're not seeing yellow here, which is too bad, because very often she would be, I think, represented with more yellow. But Manjushri is part of the Ratna family. So Ratna is earth, it's generous, and it turns pride into the wisdom of generosity, right? So the perfection of generosity. And what Manjushri has here in his right hand is this flaming sword of wisdom, so that he can cut through delusions and you can see the wisdom beneath them that's available to you at any moment, very quickly. He's also holding on to a lotus that also has, just like his great mother, right? What do we have here? We have an ice cream sandwich, otherwise known as the Prajnaparamita Sutra. So we have that here as well. You sometimes may hear sutta and sutra interchangeably used. One is Pali. Sutta is Pali. Sutra with an R is Sanskrit derived. So you'll hear them used interchangeably quite a bit by Westerners. And a sutra means thread, right? So it's a thread of something. It's a thread of thought, a thread of philosophy, a thread of lineage. It's something that ties everything together, right? So he has the Wisdom Sutra there. He has the Sambhogakaya ornamentation all over him, which tells us that he manifests within that realm that's between the formless and the earth, right? But he is not among us. He is definitely above us. Yeah. And that said, I clearly did not write it down in my notes, but I came across various things to do with Manjushri that were about, his ability through his kindness, through his ability to just cut things through and say, look, here's where we are, here's what this means, here's where we're going, planning, forethought, etc. And that is why he is very suitable as the emperor. For those of you who have been around long enough to remember me doing Tibetan Mo readings every week, something I miss desperately and keep wanting to come back to. So hopefully at some point that will be possible again. But for those of you who remember that, Manjushri is the deity that you consult with the Mo. So as the emperor, he is perfectly appropriate, because as diviners, as people who are seeking things, who are asking for advice, or going to a higher authority figure, Manjushri is going to share his wisdom and his high perspective here up on top of this mountain very generously with us as a Ratna family member in order to help us on our path, right? Which is why we consult the Mo. We consult it because, not because we're necessarily because we're afraid or because we want to know more than everybody else, but because we want to be prepared and we want to set the right conditions for the path, right? So that we're able to tread the path mindfully and skillfully. Okay.